how we and the majority of people use alcohol. This is the one drug that the government has like put into this like sanctity of, allowance, where it's like, no, this is actually fine. Like, you guys can just moderate on your own. Like that's how they designed it, because
you can drink as much as you want.
Right.
What up, fam?
Hey.
Welcome to episode 38. We are talking about something that I did not expect us to talk about.
I did.
I know, because you selected it. Alcohol. We're talking about alcohol today. Eric's favorite topic.
Near and dear to all of our hearts.
We're going to be going through quite the selection of things. Eric will get us started. And I will say the way a lot of people were introduced to this podcast was through mezcal, which is a wonderful choice of alcohol. And we'll be digging into that. But I think this episode deserves a cheers. Let's cheers it up.
Cheers. Speaking of mezcal.
And by the way, we're all
there's variety
buzzed,
over here,
right? Like everyone here is.
I am mixing, but I've always been a mixer.
Is everyone drunk?
I want to talk about mixing too.
I've never not been drunk doing this podcast.
Okay,
I think we've all met the 2-drink minimum.
Okay, good. So, Eric, get us started.
Okay, so we're talking about alcohol today, and this is awesome for me because I think I think I love alcohol more than all of you guys.
No.
I think so.
There's no way.
Well, and also we can debate this too. I think I'm the most alcoholic of all of us.
Steven
You
would
sound
beg to
proud in
differ.
that achievement.
In a way.
We can get into this later, but you and I have different alcoholism strategies.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm a bit weird about it, but I want to lead it off by saying that look, we are booze forward on Alfalfa, right? Like every episode we have like bottles on the table. Like this particular episode we tried to move the bottles off the table just for the camera shot.
Off screen, there's a lot of carnage.
Yeah, there's a lot of bottles around us. And like even on our Bankless episode, like we mandated that David Hoffman begin with a 2-drink minimum.
We did.
And that's because in my experience, and my experience with alcohol is that like it's a social lubricant. It enables deeper conversations, and that permeates a lot of aspects of life. You can talk about networking, dating, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your podcast hosts, etc. And where I'm going with this is that like I think of alcohol as a net positive, but it's literally a poison going into your body, and the health negatives are pretty clear.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, I think
Up front.
everyone understands that like it's probably not good for you. But like at what threshold is it net positive? And my question to you guys is, what is your relationship with alcohol right now, today, and how has that evolved? And I kind of want to start with Armand because I feel like you particularly have kind of like wavered on the alcohol topic a little bit recently.
Oh boy. So I'm currently looking at a glass of red wine that Steven has poured for me that is apparently a 4.3 or 4.4 on Vivino.
Whoa,
This is a GPA?
Don't
I thought that was
spoil
on a
it.
scale of 100.
Okay. I won't spoil it yet,
Right.
but the reason I bring that up is because it excites me.
But now that you've brought it up, like, what do you think of the wine?
Hold on.
This wine costs $16.
Don't do that into the mic.
Oh my God, I have a whole take on this exact
This
bet you
process
do.
right here.
this whole
Yeah.
thing bothers me.
You have a thing against
Air rating, like in front of the mic. Get it out of there.
no, this is part of the process.
Ugh.
So I think it's good. Am I supposed to rate it on the Vivino scale?
I want to know how this can you think of a bottle of wine that costs less than $20 that you would drink other than this wine?
Sure, but that's because.
But I want to know, what is it?
A person might just prefer.
No. I want to know. I want to know your sub 20 wine pick. That's better than this one.
Probably like Conundrum, which is super fruity and sugary.
That's just like liquid grape juice. That's
I
like
know.
Hangover. Okay,
I mean, I'm just telling you, like based on flavor profile.
not even sub 20.
I would probably grab something from Italy over this Mendoza, but I really like this. Does that?
This is the first time I've had it as well.
Okay. I really like it.
Your noses are up, and Eric and I's
Can I
noses are up
reframe?
against.
Can I
Why don't you
reframe?
guys just shut up for a second
I
and let
hate-
us enjoy?
Eric's like, God,
Let
I
us-
can't believe you took the alcohol discussion and totally ran off the road with it.
Okay, so these guys just want to talk about how great alcohol is, and you and I just want to have like a slightly sophisticated conversation about grape juice.
Oh my God, this is exactly what I want to.
Go ahead.
This is what I want to
Go
dunk on.
ahead. You obviously don't understand wine.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say, if I would be allowed, is that I'm looking at the drink in front of me, and I absolutely love it. I love what it represents. I love the color. You can make fun of me all you want later, but I'll tell you how I really feel. I love that there's so much labor that went into what I'm currently drinking. I love the fact that like somebody meticulously sat and thought about the flavor profile, how much oak it should be represented in it. Grape juice, aka red wine in particular, is a living thing, and it's beautiful. And I think what it represents is like one of the great works of art, honestly. And so for me to be able to like sit here and drink a great glass of wine is a privilege and an opportunity that I would like to enjoy for the rest of my life. That said,
Amen,
back
brother.
to your original question, this is ancient, okay? I don't want to get like overly proud of my culture, but like it could be that Persians created wine.
Wait,
Like the process of fermentation of
Just
of,
wine, that the first wine that was discovered is heavily debated to be between
I thought
Persians
the
and
Georgians
Egyptians.
did it.
Okay,
And then
it's
there's that
neighboring.
also
I mean,
argument
that's
as
fine.
well. So like this is a question for archaeologists and people that spend their lives doing this. But for me, what it represents is something beautiful. I think that I want to spend the rest of my life drinking this. At the same time, it comes with some trade-offs that for me oftentimes are net negative. So the thing that I value most in my life, probably outside of like relationships, love, my like significant other, my friends, is my mental faculties. The number one thing that this destroys are my mental faculties.
I wish I hadn't started with you. Is what I. What
Yeah.
I
I'm surprised you did. I'm surprised you did. You said you wanted my take first. You said you. I'm actually surprised you started with me because I was going to sober this up pretty quickly. Like waking up in the morning with a hangover because of this makes me question my life. Not to mention, as you get older, the anxiety that begins to creep in, the hangover plus anxiety, the doubt about your actions the previous day, the inability to process the thoughts that are stirring in your mind in the morning, the inability to then take action on ideas in that day. That at this point for me, after a big night of drinking with you guys,
Yeah,
is the
glass of red wine.
entire day, the entire day sucks. At the same time, red wine, bourbon, a peaty Scotch whiskey, there is nothing more fun and beautiful to me.
But what about
like
the
in life.
shared struggle that is created after a hard night of drinking with your friends, and you get
Look,
over
I
together? Some
started
kind of
with.
bonding.
I started with. I mean, I started with that, but like I could argue for it to the same degree. I think in the end, for me, it's obviously slightly net. I said net negative, but I think it's slightly net positive. But otherwise, I would not be drinking. I would have given it up already.
So I'll continue on this sober note, and then we go up only after
Okay.
this. But because I'm the I think I'm the only one here who's actually worn a continuous glucose monitor. I think I've worn it for a total of like
that's
eight,
definitely true. Yes.
8 weeks, and I got to see what happens to your body
tell
when
me.
you consume alcohol.
and that was
Please don't tell me.
in an effort to keep yourself
How
in
about
a state
what
of
happens to your
ketosis.
yeah, in
sleep, Steven?
ketosis, and
I already know that.
and even like towards a longevity goal of keeping your glucose as low as possible and minimizing spikes above say 140, for example.
Okay.
So I did multiple tests where I drank different types of alcohol, and what's fascinating is when you start to drink alcohol, your glucose actually declines almost immediately within the first hour or 2 hours.
Every time that you
Every
immerse
time,
sun?
and it's because your body goes into hyperactive metabolism mode, and then when your liver gets also overwhelmed, and it prevents it from producing more glucose. So actually, the first time I did it, I was like, this is amazing. I just drank 2 glasses of wine, my glucose is down, I'm winning.
Back in ketosis.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a freak of nature.
I remember that text.
Yeah. And then, but what I found is that the next day, and even the day after that, your kind of like base level glucose is significantly higher. And no matter what you do, you could work out hard, you could eat very cleanly. Regardless, your baseline glucose is significantly higher for those day and a half. So if you care about that,
Well, why does that matter?
Well, because like glucose is one of those markers that could tell you about your metabolic health, and metabolic health could go towards, how like your longevity, how well you'll age, essentially. So I don't know.
Is that the main way you think about alcohol? You're like, okay, my goal is longevity, health span.
No. I mean, like I think through my business has been I've generated most of my wealth through like business development. And a lot of that has happened at conferences, typically with people you've never met before. Maybe you're meeting for the first time, and there's no better way to kind of like, establish some kind of bond than drink, and then see each other the next day and be like, wow, I am not
this is my
feeling
number
so
one problem
great.
with
Chinese do.
alcohol, though.
I'm not doing a
number one
business deal
problem.
with you until you get blacked out with me and do something weird, and we make eye contact.
Well, let's hear your problem with alcohol.
Well, it's not so much a problem with alcohol. It's a problem that I would just like to address. It just so happens to be the thing that is currently socially acceptable and legal, and we don't talk about this idea enough. Like, people mention this, but it isn't like addressed frequently enough in society that like cannabis is 1,000 times. I mean, it is just not lethal, and this is like it's that simple. Like this kills more people.
Yeah,
People are addicted to this.
it's
People
worse
go to
for you.
AA for this. People's lives are ruined because of this. People become addicts in other dimensions and areas because of this addiction. The addiction of cannabis or psychedelics, which basically doesn't exist because psychedelics just aren't addictive to the most degree,
False.
depending on the what. No, they aren't.
False.
They aren't.
No, that's false.
Is LSD addictive?
Yes.
Psilocybin is addictive?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Oh, the guy's never done either of them.
Wait, can I
What are you
can I
talking
push back on you? Can I
What
push
are you
back on you a
talking
bit here? Here.
Yeah,
Are,
sure.
Are you familiar with the experiment where the rat pushes the lever and does cocaine and just dies doing cocaine?
I heard it back in the day.
Yeah. Are you aware of the new study they did where they did the cocaine study where the rat has a lever where it pushes cocaine, but they put a rat in a cage with like friends, and then the rat didn't just do a bunch of cocaine and die because he had friends. Like that to me is like alcohol. It's like how many people have a great life and friends and meaning, but they discover alcohol and then they just like it they just goes off the rail. To me, like alcohol is dangerous in a way because it does take a person who is predisposed to be self-destructive because they are lacking deeper meaning in their life. They have maybe psychological problems or whatever it is, and it pushes them off the rails. But I don't know anybody, and maybe you guys do, and I'm talking out of my ass, but I don't know anybody who was like truly happy and had a great family and a business and a career they cared about, and then they drank like too much wine and suddenly they just went off the deep end and they like jumped off a bridge, right? Like, so I do think it's important to differentiate when we talk about drugs in general, right? Like, to what degree do drugs cause a person who's otherwise on the right path to just take a detour, drive off the highway, just drive off a bridge, versus like that person was already on a self-destructive path and this just kind of
With
pushed them there.
alcohol specifically, 100% that exists. Alcoholism as an addiction and an illness causes that. Like that just is a fact.
Oh, I think it's chicken or the egg.
I don't
Chicken
think that's
or
a
the
fact.
egg,
I
dude.
think they're like I don't know. I would push back against this idea that like
There are
there's-
certain people that have never tasted alcohol, and for the first time when they taste it, they black out.
But what percentage
And it
of
takes
people is that?
a small percentage. A small percentage. We're talking about that
I
percentage.
didn't think that you'd
I'm
be
just-
so bearish. This
No,
thing
no,
that
no.
we do every goddamn day
No,
together.
no, we're having a discussion about it. Like we can move on, but like,
Well, let's-
I don't
I'm
wanna
not
move
going
on.
to lie
I
to
think it's a
myself
good
or you
discussion.
guys about it.
No, let's just
It's
talk about
interesting.
like the sort of like the meat and potatoes of it, not like the fringes. You know, like
Okay, that is a fringe, but let me actually like better explain why I'm coming at it from this angle. Because for as many people as it is enjoyable, which is you,
Sure.
and it's easy, there is a percentage of the population where it is a major problem. A major problem.
Totally.
And I just want to come at this conversation from that objective viewpoint that like this ruins certain lives, and for the remainder of society, it's a beautiful, wonderful thing.
No doubt. And
That's all.
I think Stephen's point was that it can be something that acts as a vehicle for somebody who's already sad
Yes.
to take the next steps.
It's a magnifier.
It's a magnifier. And in our experience, the four of us, to Nick's point, it's like this magnifies our level of depth of conversation. It
Yes.
magnifies our like
For the
level
record,
of fun
I
together.
digest and handle alcohol very well. I just am aware of like trade-offs around it. That's all.
I think it's a fair point. We shouldn't be like overly glib about.
I just don't want to come out. This the whole
downsides.
thing is just like
I know.
alcohol's the best drug ever.
I'm probably getting too down the rabbit hole of like, oh, there's like a lot of nuance in drug use, and actually, like a lot of people who use drugs and suffer from it. We're already suffering, and maybe we should throw all drugs under the bus. Fine.
Do you want to do a whole episode in that voice, or
Yeah, we should do an all drug episode where I have to talk in that voice.
no? Just
the
that
entire episode.
voice.
I'm down. We'll do that in like a month or something after people forget about this. But no, your point is well received.
Okay.
I didn't mean.
Yeah.
First of all, it's
Just
Eric's
my
fault. He picked
contrarians
me
coming
first.
out.
It
I
can
just
be
can't help
dangerous. It can clearly be dangerous, and we've lost at least one friend
Thank
that we
you.
can identify right now.
Thank you.
We've lost.
I was wondering
to
if you would think
alcoholism.
about that. on
Well,
this.
clearly, but this was an individual who had deeper rooted
Sure.
issues. Alcohol
But
was
there
not
could have
the
been
issue.
generations of alcohol abuse and alcoholism that were also at play.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
I don't
tough.
want to I don't necessarily want to argue that point.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about how we and the majority of people use alcohol. Like this is the one drug that the government has like put into this like sanctity of allowance, where it's like, no, this is actually fine. You guys can just moderate on your own. That's how they designed it.
Yeah,
Because
you can drink as much as you want.
Right, because I personally believe that like there's an arc. The arc slants upward where it's like beneficial, and then it clearly has a peak, and then it slants downward where there's like a problem, and the onus is on the individual.
So let's shift gears. Do you guys think it's positive for getting laid? Do you think that this is helping society
God.
generate more
Easy
babies?
yes.
There's not even a debate. Like the frequency of sex, alcohol is a net positive for sure.
As long as you can get it up.
Well, the quality of sex is a different debate.
Yeah, I would argue it's like an overall net negative. But
As long as you can get it up, Parker.
Well,
if your only KPI is getting laid, then yeah, it probably helps.
But
if
there
you
are,
zoom out a little bit, it's probably
certainly
not good.
other substances are worse for the quality of getting like cocaine. Just see you later. No chance.
So I hear.
Yeah, so you hear. Yeah.
But you get to the point with alcohol where all your inhibitions are removed. That's one of those wonderful. There's that funny scene in Midnight in Paris where the pedantic fellow is like, "Oh yes,
Oh my
alcohol."
God! Thank you for bringing that up, because this is like how I feel watching
About
this
me?
guy. Yeah.
I,
It's like-
what's funny is I knew you were thinking that the
Oh,
entire
God.
time. You're just
Yes.
like, he's being so pedantic about this
Yeah.
perspective on alcohol.
Thank you for just like having that awareness.
So he goes, "Oh yes, alcohol, the great,
yeah,
the
yeah.
great inhibition."
Back from my ancestors.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're all drinking this to get to change our mind state. Like, it's what we're
Exactly.
Yeah. To me, alcohol is like it's like clothes, right? Like if we were all sitting here like naked right now, it'd be a little weird. Like our mom would be like, "Does my left testicle look strange? Is it just sticking out in a weird way?"
I guarantee you he would be thinking that. That's so poignant, because he would actually be thinking
He's
that.
like, are my abs disappearing? Should I lean back and flex more? But like with the benefit of clothing,
You did that accidentally, but he's absolutely right.
I like this analogy. Keep going. I like this analogy.
We're covering up and abstracting away all this shit that would otherwise occupy our brain and our mindset, and then we're able to be like more present because we've just just discarded all of that and thrown it to the side. So that to me is like what responsible alcohol use does. It allows us to put on like these sort of reverse mental clothes in a way, I guess, where we like cover these like inhibitions or things we have, and we can all be like a little more naked in a way, in like an intellectual way or in an emotional way, and be free. And it's very freeing to all of us, right? And if you take that too far,
and the best example,
bad.
Obviously, if you take it too far, bad. But the best example of that is going on a first date. Like when you guys were single, and you go on a first date, and that first date is coffee.
Dry.
Like you're on a job interview more than a date, and everyone is like buttoned up, this version of themselves that presenting to a hiring manager. But then if you take that exact same person and instead go to the bar and do a couple drinks, whatever drink of choice, like now you've like disrobed. You've gotten to a place where you're sharing the inner vulnerabilities of each other, and the conversation gets much better. And I think like this podcast is another great example of that. Like
it is to a limit, though, right? Can we at least agree that there is a line with this substance, and beyond that line,
it's a curve.
it's a
limited.
curve. It's an art.
Okay.
If you've ever worked
That's
with
all
other
I want. That's all I want.
There's a line with clothing too. Like if Armand rolled in with like a full burqa for the next podcast, like we would be like,
Be like,
why?
It's 85 degrees out,
This
dude.
is too much. It's
Steven's
you know,
anti-burqa now. Here we go.
That's not the point of this. It's not the point of this
I
metaphor.
see what's happening here.
It's not the point of this metaphor. Is that a
If
metaphor?
you've,
I don't even know.
if you've worked with software engineers, there's often this Balmer peak theory, which is that productivity actually in your mental acuity increases up to a point of number of drinks, and then it tails off. And it's usually around 2 drinks.
It's like a
anecdotally.
reverse Dunning-Kruger kind of.
Yeah. Like, I've seen software engineers have a beer or two while they're coding, and they feel like their mental acuity, their performance increases. And as soon as you hit number 3,
the idea of
tails off.
microdosing with
Dude,
alcohol.
my favorite thing to do is to get on an airplane, have like 2 drinks, maybe 3, and write.
You write
Wonderful.
on airplanes?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the
He's
only
an
thing I
epic
do.
writer. He's writing his book. He's flying just to write a
literally
book.
the only thing I do.
Biggest lie I tell myself in life is I'll do it on the plane.
That's the only thing I do.
I have never told myself I'll do it
I've
on
seen
the
you
plane.
trade on
and
a
done it
plane
the
before.
plane.
If you don't, then
trading's
you
fun.
never.
That's just like
then you
gambling.
should
That's
stop-
addictive.
You should
Right?
stop
But, like-
lying to yourself and find a new place where that exists.
Like if Armand was like, we need to rewrite the MOU. I need a draft from
where do you
on the
think that
plane."
was written?
Like, and I was like, I'll do that on the plane.
I told
would
you that
never
was
do
written on the
plane.
flight from Miami to Denver.
That's
Do
why
you
I'm
remember that?
fascinated by this.
That
because
was written
I don't
on
think
a flight.
any other human behaves this way. I think most humans get on the plane and they're like, I'm going to work. And then they're like, maybe I'll have 1 Bloody Mary first. And then like 7 Bloody Marys later.
There's something about being like, how high are you?
30,000?
35,000 feet. I'm just like connected to fucking aliens, and it just it comes through me. Man.
Can I talk about?
It's totally a real thing.
Okay, can I reframe a little bit?
I speak for the aliens.
To your point, on planes, I have this weird thing where as soon as the engines start, it's like a lullaby. I'm asleep on a plane. But
We're like opposites.
Yeah,
I'm narcoleptic as well.
I don't want to really
I
talk
literally
about,
go, hello.
I don't want to talk about the plane
plane
so much, but I want to talk about the alcohol again. Like where I'm personally weird with alcohol is that like this conversation is already fun, whatever we're talking about. Like we're talking about the benefits or the cons or whatever of alcohol. Like it's already more fun because we've been drinking a little bit and we're like getting a little deeper. We're disrobed, to Steven's point, and that's cool to me. I think the point that's weird for me, and I don't think this is normal. Like I won't drink alcohol like any other time. Like if it's dinner time and it's like a steak, like I won't have a glass of wine.
So do you think it's interesting that I will?
I think I'm weird. Like I think that's normal that you will.
Because you think it's funny, my disposition, my overall sentiment toward alcohol. But like I will go to dinner by myself, order a steak, and have a glass of wine
Totally.
or 2.
Yeah.
I think that's
No
normal.
problem.
That's normal.
That's totally normal.
Right.
Okay.
I'm the weird one.
What? No, we all
Are
have
you
very
sure?
different styles. Like you, I think, I don't want to speak for you, but you to me seem like a selective binger.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when it's time to go,
so he's like, let's go.
I take the governor off
Yeah.
I pull the bra off. I let those babies hang,
Yeah.
and that's how I do it.
Drop to the floor.
I'm like very European. Like I'm
Oh.
Drink
buzzed.
every day.
I'm buzzed like all the time, but I'm never like bent over a toilet throwing up. Like I'm just always drinking a moderate amount. Like I've gone 3 months straight drinking every single day, but like also
oh my
have.
God, are you serious?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But in that time period, like there was never a point where
I've
I like.
never drank more than like maybe 5 days in a
I
row.
want to prick Steven's
You've
blood.
never what?
Ever.
Oh, I've gone a year straight
That's-
binge
that's
drinking every day.
I have a rule. Maybe we'll get to this portion, but like maybe we won't. So I'll just say it now. Like I have a rule fundamentally to try to never drink 2 days in a row. So it's an every other day thing for me. However, on the weekends, it's almost impossible. It's very difficult. So like I reserve weekends for that. But like every day in a row for me is like an absolute no go.
The frequency at which I've been drinking more has definitely correlated to this podcast because
No doubt.
I would go weeks without drinking and not even know it. And I'd be like, wow, I've gone 2 weeks without drink. It just happened. And now I find myself, it's on the schedule.
Yeah,
it's on the calendar.
Every Wednesday, and then
I don't know. I don't know if I
was like,
like,
oh boy, it's drinking day.
it's nudie magazine day.
So hang on a second, Mr. European. Like you, can we talk about this? Like you literally will drink
Yeah,
every day.
I went through,
And you don't go through any sort of like existential questioning or crisis.
well, not
of,
when you
like-
don't hop off the wagon.
Well,
No,
yeah.
because many of these, like this 3 month period, and no, I'm not exaggerating. Like I've definitely gone these periods where I drink every day, but like 90% of those days was like one glass of wine after work, unwind, watch TV, go to bed. No problem. Didn't drink a whole bottle.
my therapist says there's no problem with this.
I don't think there's any problem with it at all. Like but I also think there's a lot of people who could not execute that, right? And
Correct.
I would not recommend that to people. But for me, it works for me. I'm a very
Very Italian.
tightly wound person, right? Who
Very Italian.
gets into the workday, you get very into shit. And like for me, it's like therapeutic. The ability for my body to just go like, and just like release.
it's like I think it's Pavlovian in that way. It's like
Probably,
this is
yeah.
like a moment for you to unwind.
And I've actually thought this, and I've tried to replicate that using non-alcohol things to do
I
this.
think
Like
cannabis can accomplish the same thing. I really do.
I experimented with that, and it was not ideal
Optimal?
for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it just wasn't the same
too
as
much.
having like one glass of wine, right?
Because one glass of wine is like a half-hour buzz.
So can I talk about
It's
this?
difficult.
Because my framework, Stephen nailed it. Like I'm a selective binger. And
Social lubricant binger.
totally. And my whole thought is if you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Like because
I've seen you go.
I recognize that it's poison. And like I don't want to drink poison.
It's the opposite of Steven in every way.
Right. But I recognize also the social benefits that Nick already described, which is like when you're in a social environment, this is it's actually beneficial. So like for me, I will gladly send it, 2 days a week. And for me, it's like, man, I can't even picture why you would want 2 glasses on a freaking Tuesday.
I don't know. Like I would be curious. Do you guys? What do you guys
I'm way
think is
more like
worse?
Steven.
One glass of wine a week, one glass of wine a night, every single night for your whole life, or 2 nights a week you drink 17 drinks?
The daily, the former.
No. Physiologically,
You
I
think
think
the former is worse?
no, mine's
Yes.
worse. Mine's way
Oh.
worse.
I
think
would
the
strongly
former
disagree.
is way better.
I
Yeah,
think the 2
completely
days
agree.
of severe binging is way worse than the
Absolutely.
daily.
Binging will kill you.
Absolutely. I completely
It
agree
will
with you.
decrease the health span of
And
your
I am
life.
biased because that is my working.
Yeah.
I just explained to you what happens when you drink and the effect on your glucose.
No, I don't
levels.
want data.
I'm just saying, like,
I feel like
one time a week is better than having one, like,
No, but he
one,
said
2 times a week of 17 drinks.
17 drinks at a time, I'd be
he
dead.
talked. That's his point though.
Oh,
like
17
what would
drinks,
it
I'm just
look
getting
like?
started,
Well,
baby.
That's
okay.
just a responsible, quote unquote, college person. You're like, yeah, dude, bro, I only drink Friday and
No,
Saturday.
call it
but 17
5.
beers.
Call it
and
5.
Yeah,
the whole day.
5 drinks in one night a week is definitely
Okay,
better
that's
than
way different.
one drink a night.
That's way different.
No, let's be honest.
way different.
I am a binger. Like we're not talking about 5 drinks in a night. I'm talking about 5 drinks just to get going.
Yes.
And then
No. My analogy was like what Eric's like. Yeah, it's 17. It's like my
17 is
baseline. It's
clear.
my baseline when I go. When
No
I
problem.
go 17.
And there's I don't count, but I don't
That's
count.
my brother, by the way. He's
I
the
know.
same as you.
He and I are the same.
Yeah.
And he's got a freaking
He's like, I'm either clean as a fucking whistle
right.
or
And
he
that
goes all the way.
Motherfucker's got a 6-pack on his abs
Oh.
and a 6-pack inside of his abs
triple
whenever he fucking
R
wants.
abs.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
And
He's still young.
well,
He's actually only like 3 years younger than us.
so I actually don't think that it's as bad as people think. And when I go
He's
back
34.
Yeah.
yeah. So
fuck my
when
life.
I talk about when I think about alcohol, I think about the first principles. Why are we doing it? Right? Some people do it for the freaking pageantry, like this motherfucker was like looking at the legs of the wine glass and all that.
Do you have a
Not
problem with
pageantry.
that?
It's a real thing.
I can't believe he calls it pageantry.
Okay, so he's like imposturing a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a character.
Mostly for Eric.
Yeah,
It was a
like,
character
she was
he
But
was
like,
playing.
Steven, can we talk about like the beauty of like these ideas?
No.
for a
I'm with
minute?
Armand. Like, I love the art of the alcohol. Like, I do. Like, when I drink wine, I love to hear the story of it. I want to hear where it came from. I want to hear about the person who made it and
course.
where they were born and how they got to this. Like, it's all interesting.
No,
to
no.
me.
I want to drink and tell stories
Okay,
and hear
fine.
stories.
How
Yeah,
about
I wanna
it?
hear-
You
it's like
just
not something I
don't
care about.
appreciate.
No,
I care about that
I'll
too.
allow the space for that, but I think you have to acknowledge the first principles of it, which is like we're doing this to socially lubricate. And if you ignore that, then we can't even have a conversation.
Nobody said anything about it.
No.
That's all I'm trying to say.
I reject
is
that because I drink alone constantly.
well, you have a fucking problem.
No, I do not. I don't get drunk alone. I drink alone. This is an important distinction.
Like there are people who drink for the taste. There are people who drink for the knockoff off of work. There are people who drink for this. But I think the first principles of alcohol are that it affects your mood. And
Yes.
if you can't acknowledge that, then I think this conversation doesn't go anywhere.
Well, one reason we all get
fair.
along is because we
fair.
are a very somewhat similar type of drunk. There are different types
No, there are
of
4
drunks.
different
True.
strategies here.
Dude,
like-
very true. Like if one of us was just
What
off
if one
the
of us was an
wall
angry
or-
drunk?
Okay. Also,
Right.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Well,
I
know
am a
one like
I'm a
that.
lovely drunk. I'm great to be around. Like
Steven is a good.
I'm a
Confirmed.
happy drunk.
He
right?
plays the piano for you when he's
Confirmed.
drunk. It's
You're a
amazing.
great drunk. We all are.
I know people who are they get a little bit and you're just like start to go off that edge and you're like, oh
Should
no,
we
they're
do
gonna
like a
start yelling
therapy
at me.
session real quick? Am I a good drunk?
You're all good. You're all very good.
Okay.
And we
Self-selected.
Keep
we all
drinking.
are. We all are.
Keep drinking. Okay.
I would say this side of the table starts getting slightly like you start getting slightly nervous.
Wait, where'd you draw that? That wasn't a straight line. Where'd
Yeah,
you draw that line?
can you say the names?
It's Nick and Eric.
We get slightly nervous.
No, if both of you get really really drunk, I get like nervous. Like I worry.
Oh yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. They become
No, I worry that Nick
Yeah.
is gonna just roundhouse kick me in the face.
for sure.
And I worry that
not
like,
in an angry way, but out of love.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like a
and,
love
and I
kick.
worry
It's
that
just
Eric
like-
is just gonna verbally abuse me. Like,
Yeah,
That's
like,
a
so-
fact. That's true.
But I never get like
Dude.
super drunk with Armand. I'm like, oh god, he's gonna flip a switch, and like he's just gonna like start
We
getting.
get more red and jolly.
Wait, hold on. Can we
Not
clarify
only
the
jolly.
roundhouse kick to the face? It's not out of like anger or ill will. It's like a fun thing. Like, yeah, let me.
So
yeah, sure, fun for you.
on that point, last weekend in Mexico, Nick came up to me. He's like, "I'm doing everything I can to not knee you in the thigh."
You're just sitting there so vulnerable.
Yeah, I was just standing there like an idiot. So I know, Steven's right about this, and I do get more argumentative when I drink, but that
I feel no. Eric, he becomes like that SpongeBob meme where it's just like he just rips the shirt off. He's like, "All right, I'm drunk, motherfuckers. I don't care anymore. No holds barred, telling it like it is." And he just.
I see that.
Yeah.
It's just like be
I
like,
see that.
no
sometimes.
holds barred.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like, chill. Eric is gone. I am shitting on all of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just brought back a flashback. I remember a few of those. Those are great combos.
That
though.
happens.
Those are great.
Oh my god.
Okay, wait. Unless anybody has any strong opinions here, I'd like to shift the conversation into some like alcohol alpha.
I was just gonna say if we could
Booze
go
alpha.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just gonna
So-
say like, what are the drinks of choice?
okay.
Or the hangover
I feel like
cures
we
of
could
choice.
take this into
Yes,
a
both
number.
of those, please.
We could take this in a few directions. Like, what categories of alcohol do you like? Would you do you want to focus on a category?
Well, do
and
you
narrow
feel
it down
like
there?
personally a certain type of alcohol serves you better in terms of like your demeanor and less hangover and stuff like that? Because that's a
100%.
that's a common sort of myth.
Oh
I'll
my
call it. It's a
God.
myth. It's a
Jägermeister?
It's
Anyone?
a full myth.
No.
Yeah.
That is no myth.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like number one alpha for people, right, is you drink like Mexican beer, Blanco tequila, and European wine, and then you're pretty good.
Come on, man.
Blanco tequila?
Nobody wants to drink that shit.
To not get hungover.
No, come on.
Nobody
This
wants
is
to
not
drink
alpha.
Nobody wants to drink European wine and Blanco tequila
No, I don't want Blanco tequila.
and
Well, you
Mexican
rep
beer.
And I only want Mexican lager if it's like 89 outside and I'm in Mexico.
Bro, I'm sorry. What alcohol? You're speaking fighting words to me. Like all I drink is like European wine, Mexican beer.
Let's be clear.
not that
this is
enjoyable.
This is your.
You all just asked me to run upstairs, grab a Mexican beer
I'm teasing.
from the roof fridge, bring it down
Because
to
it's
you.
102 degrees inside this
your-
building.
I love these.
I don't think that this alpha is objective. Like
No, this alpha is absolutely okay. Let's narrow it down. Wine alpha. You don't want to be hungover, but you like wine.
I agree with this part.
Drink old world wine.
I agree.
Period.
Yes.
End of story.
Because
I've
there are
learned
like
this one the
there
hard
are wines that have like phytates in it and actual like science that can.
Why
fuck
don't
up.
you give your favorite things to drink? That's what's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay, but like a true alcoholic, I have like this whole cornucopia of idea. Like, what mood am I in? What's the weather outside?
This
What
is the
time
kind
of
of
day is
shit
it?
that bothers me because I'm old school. I think that
Eric
like,
just likes to get drunk.
no.
He's like, oh, I'm
Well,
drunk.
That's
Get
sort
drunk
of the
and
point of drinking.
berate
Yeah,
Steven.
I agree. But no, it's not that. It's like I think there's like all these like rules and stipulations that we've like learned bro science in college. That's like beer before liquor. This shit is like, okay, who decided that? My fucking frat brother? Like, give me a break.
I agree. That's stupid.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get to the alpha.
But all this shit is the same. It's
No,
like,
it's not all the same. It's not.
I want to
all the
hear all
same.
of Steven's alpha.
That's
Right
it.
now.
Let's hear it.
Drinking like nice like French wine is not the same as you chugging like apothic. Okay, like one of those is gonna wreck you, and it tastes like shit, and you're gonna wake up hungover. Okay, I think like beer. I think IPAs are fucking stupid. You're just drinking plants.
Love
It
IPAs.
tastes terrible. They
Love
have like
IPAs.
7,000 calories per serving. They get you hungover as fuck.
David Hoffman's going to have fighting
yeah,
words
I
for
hold
you.
my paddle up on that.
No.
I'm not going to say
No.
anything anymore. I'm just going to hold the paddle.
My beer, I do barbell theory on beer, right? So on the left, I go Mexican beer, hot day, clean, lime, refreshing,
Delicious. I agree with you.
right? And then when I want a beer that tastes good, I go like Belgian. Get a little tulip glass.
Cool.
I savor it. Drink
Delicious.
the Belgian. There's never a point in my life where I'm like, I need an IPA.
Well,
I want to just drink a plant. I want to drink a liquid plant right now.
That's just your opinion, man.
You're damn right. It's my opinion.
great
Can I hear your? I want to
Putting my
hear your
finger
hangover, anti-hangover.
Yes.
This is better alpha. Like, give me this the hangover alpha.
Yeah.
Skip to the hangover. Okay, so I have a hangover regimen.
that
It's-
you swear by.
You're looking at me like I told you about.
Well,
it.
because
You
he's
tried
also
it.
waking up on the living room floor.
Well-
so
Well, first of all, we went on a camping trip together. We all went on a camping trip together, and I took some of Steven's hangover regimen, or maybe it was yours. I felt great the next day.
Really?
Yeah, I took that charcoal stuff. Good.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
charcoal's key.
Good. Very
Can't,
good.
Can't dispute the charcoal. Okay, activated charcoal.
Yeah, no.
What
Well,
else
the
is
main
in
thing is like drink water. Everybody tells you to drink water.
No doubt.
One of the reasons I like the Mexican beer, it's basically water.
No
It
doubt.
is.
You know, but yeah, the charcoal is key.
activated charcoal pills.
Activated charcoal pills. You take that, you absorb all the shit while you sleep. So when you wake up, it's not as terrible. I love the THC/CBD gummies. This is critical for me because like I found as I've become like old and boomerish, once I get past 2.5 drinks, I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. My body's like, I'm done metabolizing this alcohol and I'm going to wake you up and fuck you.
Yeah, I've been there.
And
yeah.
that was like a rough thing for me to go through because when I was a young 18-year-old buck, right, I would pound like 19 natty lights and I just I'd stay up till 4 and sleep to 6 p.m. the next day. And you're like, oh, I'm ready to go again. It's so easy. But then you just start waking up at 2 a.m. and your life sucks. So the gummies,
Pre-sleep, you take them.
yes, pre-sleep. Pop those things. They
Are you on the
sleep me.
CBN yet, brah?
Yeah, no, so they are CBN. I've split tested a lot of the gummies actually. The pure THC
CBN
just
knocks me the fuck
yeah,
out.
they just kind of get you a little like body high. And
Yeah.
it's like it kind of works, but also you're just like kind of getting high. So the
CBN,
CBN plus THC is a nice balance of you're just getting knocked out, falling asleep, and staying asleep. So your poor old ass body.
Sleeps so good.
can
First of all,
recover.
speak for yourself, old man. Like, I am a young buck.
No, I fully admit I am the oldest person in this group.
That's just your language.
No,
and
no,
your belief system.
I believe I'm old.
No.
I literally am old.
Well, feel
I
free
feel
to.
old.
Feel free to.
It's a behavior thing.
Feel
We
free
played
to.
tennis one time yesterday for an hour. I can barely walk today.
I feel
it's a thing.
fantastic. I feel better as a result of
Well,
playing.
I don't
After
feel
we
like that
played
at all.
yesterday, I drank 15 shots. Just to see if I could, and I could, and no problem.
I
No
mostly
problem.
believe you.
Continue with your
Ideology.
hangover regimen.
Ideology.
Is there
That-
any other ingredients?
That's the bulk of it to me. It's water. I
Nice,
also
let's
drink a
try
bunch of BCAAs. Water, BCAAs, ibuprofen, charcoal,
Okay.
THC
BCAAs,
gummies.
is
boom.
that
I feel like the only person
good to
who's
go.
actually looked at their hangover regimen with data is Nick.
Yeah.
So can you give us yours?
I did a stint of trace minerals in water, and it tastes disgusting. It tastes like
minerals.
It's like salt.
it's kind of like the same as electrolytes, but with more stuff. And when you add in water, it just makes it taste metallic and toxic. But
Sounds
that
terrible.
that seems to do well. I've done the
where do you get that?
Amazon. Yeah. Trace mineral. It's a liquid form. You pour it in water. Doesn't matter how much you put in there. It tastes disgusting. But that works. The activated charcoal, I think, works. I like to take the CBD the day after, the morning of, to help
So you
with the
don't
anxiety.
do anything with THC in it, right?
Nah, I don't do drugs or like doing drugs. Yeah, so
Not
like
drugs.
I kind of
Just cannabis.
agreed. So
Calm
fine.
down.
All right. So anyway, that's off the table.
I don't do drugs, just alcohol and THC and
No, not THC.
Fine.
psilocybin, maybe. I
But
don't know.
yeah, the CBD the next day feels good.
Is CBN
I've never
a
tried.
derivative that would be considered?
No, I think THC is only.
I think it's
in my
only
mind.
psychoactive. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
I think it's like just
So
federally illegal.
okay, that's what it got. Yeah. So CBN for me versus CBD. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no, CBN.
Wow.
Actually,
It works.
I think CBD is like the biggest for me, anyways. The biggest scam. Like I've never felt anything.
No, don't do this whole thing.
No, for me, like I have taken CBD and it's done nothing.
No, come on.
It
has a lot of benefits. It has saved
I
lives.
I strongly am
Talk to
skeptical
somebody.
of this point.
Talk to a father or mother of a child that had seizures, and they will tell you the benefits of CBD.
Maybe.
That said,
Maybe the
as
niche
an
use
individual
case.
speaking, absolutely, I understand that you can't feel the physiological or psychoactive
Yeah,
effects
you guys
because
are
there are
agreeing.
none.
You guys are agreeing on CBN, so
We're agreeing.
yeah,
Yeah.
CBN.
CBN. Thumbs up.
Eric, do you just power through the hangovers?
Here's the thing. It's a bit of an old school mentality where it's like you drink for a purpose. That purpose we all agree on. It's like it's to change your mental state, right? That's why we do it. If you wanted to like drink something that tasted good, you would drink freaking orange juice.
No. I drink wine because it tastes good. I do. And I drink whiskey because it tastes good.
I'm literally putting it in
I
your
love
face for
wine.
the same
I
reason.
do. I love the
I
taste of it.
drink this because it tastes good.
Yes.
I drink bourbon. I drink scotch, peaty scotch, because it tastes fucking good.
Yes.
I agree that it
tastes
tastes
phenomenal.
good, but if it had none of the mind-altering properties of alcohol, I don't think you guys would be like, "This is phenomenal."
I would definitely like it.
I think
less.
I would still really enjoy it.
Doubt it.
It would be less good for sure.
Doubt
it would be
it.
less
For
good.
sure. Doubt
it
it.
would be less good.
Doubt it. I
would
think
be
you guys
less
are lying to yourselves about the fucking pageantry.
No,
Hold
no,
on.
Fully
no,
believing
no.
This
that.
is an interesting
I
point.
love
Would it be
pageantry.
as interesting?
No, it'd fucking suck. The
I-
first moment you taste it, you're like, "This is awful."
I think that the benefits would not outweigh the flavor profile.
But yeah, would you drink O'Doul's?
You would drink. You'd rather.
Yeah, you drink O'Doul's for fun?
Okay, so
That's a great question.
counterpoint. There's an entire
question.
industry of people who taste wine. They literally swirl the wine in their mouth and spit it out and do not get drunk off of it. And
Yeah.
that's like
But that's how they make their living.
no. There's even people who don't make their living and they just like it. They
And these
like
are the tards that I'm kind of jumping on because you're losing the first principle. The whole
I'm sorry.
thing.
I can't disagree more with this statement.
Well,
this is a beautiful thing, and so is bourbon, and so is
Drink
peaty
your O'Doul's
scotch.
for fun.
Well, but O'Doul's. Okay, well, let's just be specific. Like, if O'Doul's tasted like a very good hazy IPA or a very good, West Coast IPA,
Okay, you're not speaking to me at all with the IPA analogies.
Hold
No,
on, like
you're
a
speaking to
like
me,
a
yeah.
Pliny the Elder.
Sure,
Okay,
I like
if
it.
O'Doul's tasted like Pliny the Elder, then I'd drink it all day fucking long.
I don't
It's
think you
delicious.
would.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
I
I
know
would
you
drink
wouldn't.
it all day long. Yes, I would. I don't do it for the lingering effects of drunkenness. In fact,
it.
where we started. No. Hold on. Where we started was that the only thing that holds me back from drinking more is the lingering effects of what it feels like to reduce my mental faculties the next day. That's where we started.
No doubt.
So, like, I don't want that. I want the flavor.
No, you don't. You want the fucking. You want the effect of the beverage. You want the effect of the substance.
Eric thinks it's a nootropic.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's literally we all literally
Eric just wants a syringe. You just go,
I gotta say, he didn't say tinfoil, but tinfoil showed up.
the only reason why we do
I
this
think that's
thing is for the
non-tinfoil.
same reason. And like I think you're lying to yourself.
I love you.
You're lying to yourself.
This is
I am
phenomenal.
not lying to myself. I love French wine. I love the whole story of it. I love hearing about the vineyard and what the great grandfather did in servitude. And I love
okay,
hearing
bro.
about I
You're
love
not
the
there.
whole element of it. I love
I
the
know I'm-
story of it.
I'm
And
out
it
on this whole
does
thing.
taste better. It tastes better. It's
I
great.
agree
the whole
that
thing
it
is
does
great
taste better,
to me.
but it
I
wouldn't.
love it all.
I agree that it does taste better, and all those things do make it better. But it wouldn't.
It would be less good if it didn't make me drunk.
Exactly.
I guarantee you that I agree with you
Okay.
on
It's the first
that.
principle.
Okay.
Okay.
Fucking.
Okay, so
Any final words on?
okay, so
Alcohol.
I know we're over our sort of like we should wrap it up thing, but
Let's just go with our favorites.
I feel like
a good point.
I feel like we have more to talk about here. Like,
Let's just go with our favorites in a circle because, like,
Yeah, go.
you know, there is a taste thing. There's a taste thing, a component to it. Like, I would rather
I love
drink.
the debate, but go for it.
I would rather drink this like beautiful mezcal ancestral than I would drink Natty Light because this tastes much better. And yeah, like I'm not ignoring the pageantry. I'm just talking about the first principles that you're ignoring. So like
As you said.
for me, I love most recently two things, like a peaty Scotch that has that smoky flavor that we've all shared together. Like that Lagavulin really tickles me in the right way.
Yeah.
And then like what
In
I've
the
noticed,
loins?
yeah, right in the loin. And then these mezcals, it's like in Southern California, the agave beverages have really become so popular. This mezcal has become like a Scotch, but for tequila. It's got
Right.
it's got the smokiness, and those two are kind of like my go-tos now. But if to reiterate, if they did not do anything to my psyche, I would
Stop.
be drinking water
Stop.
and orange juice, and so would you. So
Stop. Steven.
do I have to like blurt out all my alcohol alpha and like
yeah, you have to
one second.
blur it out. Yeah, in 1 minute or less.
Okay, beer. IPAs are stupid. Stop drinking IPAs. You drink Mexican beers. You drink them in the hot sun. They're refreshing. You drink them with a lime. They make you feel good. It's great. Love it. It
Fact.
just feels great. Or if you want to taste stuff, you drink like a nice Belgian tulip glass. You savor that shit all night. Gets you drunk as fuck. 14% alcohol. Period. That's
Also-
beer.
also-
Barbell. Move on. Wine. A lot of alpha here in wine. Napa is really overrated.
Hell.
It's super expensive. It gets you hungover as fuck. Ditch the Napa. If you want to drink American wine, Paso Robles, couple of brands in there. Like if you can find them, there's some good shit in Paso Robles. Justin's gotten a little overhyped now. I like Austin Hope. I like Treyana is like a $20 bottle from Paso. It's great. That's like my main cheap thing. Otherwise, I like to go to the old world. I like France. I like Spanish Riojas. I like basically anything from Italy. It's all great. It's all cheap as hell. It doesn't get you hungover. You can drink like a ton of it. Move on with your life. Whiskey. Really like Scotch. Canadian whiskey's trash. Sorry, Basil.
You should call this out. This is a good,
Oh yeah, I mean
cheap.
that is good. Like I said, there's some gems. Like I
say
do-
what
if
it
you want to
is.
spend,
I do like this.
If you want to spend less than like,
It's a
50, what is it,
Glenlivet.
This is the
$50?
Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. This is a nice entry. Well, it tastes delicious. It's
Yes.
like aged in like a cask, so it's a little sweet.
It
Doesn't
literally
like
tastes like it
burn you.
should be like $100.
It's $30, easy to drink. It's kind of like Macallan, right? You wanted to get into Scotch. Macallan's like very approachable. It's very smooth. It's easy to drink. If you're like rich, you can drink 18 and just be like, oh, this is great. And it costs like 180 a bottle or whatever. Or drink like whatever what is it, 15? I don't know. But Macallan, it's sort of that, the blended stuff. It's great. Tequila, mezcal. I think mezcal is way better than tequila for the most part. I feel like tequila is a little restrained. You're like, you get this one region. It's like, it's I don't like it. I like mezcal. I like the smokiness. I like the freedom of expression. My last thing on notes here, cocktails. Ultimate manly cocktail, old fashioned. Best summer day cocktail, Aperol Spritz. I feel like I can live my whole life, honestly, between like old fashions, Aperol Spritzes, Mexican beer, old world wine. I'm happy. I'm fat. I'm having a great time. I'm vibing. That's my whole stuff condensed
Okay,
into.
first of all,
I'm done.
I want more of the shot clock on Steven. That was fucking phenomenal. Beautiful.
Should put you on the 1 minute clock
Yeah.
all the time.
Dude,
Who's
the shot clock is great for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm
Who's next? That's
simple.
amazing.
I like the Mexican lager on a summer day.
No doubt.
Nice and easy, perfect, smooth, fun. My go-to drink though is just a simple tequila on the rocks, reposado or añejo on the rocks, nice and simple. Currently drinking this Reserva de la Familia. It's actually a Jose
that.
Cuervo.
Show that.
It's under the Jose Cuervo brand, but it is not
is a
your typical
phenomenal-
Jose Cuervo.
That is a phenomenal bottle.
Yeah,
of
we're drinking the
tequila.
Reposado. The Añejo is a little sweeter, but it's all very, very tasty. And then also like to have a nice Japanese whiskey when you're feeling
good.
spicy.
That's good alpha. Japanese whiskey is the best whiskey. I am
next to Scotch.
Me and Eric both brought the same bottle, by the way, the Hatazaki, which I love. You can get the small batch for like $50-$60, and the other one is like $39. I think $39 is like a ridiculously cheap, great entry price for how good it is. Japanese whiskey, super alpha there. If you like whiskey,
Armand, give me your alfalfa round of alcohol, please.
I think it's all just so subjective, so I don't know if it's like really
it's great. Just zoom out.
alfalfa.
Just give yours. Just give your favorite.
What makes you happy?
Yeah, I mean, what makes me happy? I think like limited consumption, maximum enjoyment. So for me, with beer, it's like very hoppy West Coast IPAs, East Coast IPAs as well, but the West Coast ones seem to take the bill on that one. I really am with Eric on his flavor profile of like smoky stuff. So like mezcal, peaty Scotch, Lagavulin, that whole Islay region of like Lafroig and Lagavulin and
Kilchoman.
Ardbeg and Kilchoman and all of those are just like phenomenal. I love wine. My dad is a winemaker. He actually just came out with like a bottle of Petit Syrah that like blew my fucking mind.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, well, I don't even have anything to share. He just literally won the fucking gold medal in all of like Northern California for his wine.
Yeah.
He's becoming like
Go
a celebrity.
Baba.
He's literally becoming like a celebrity about this.
Let's go.
He started like 4 or 5 years ago, and now everyone in Northern California wants to know how he does his thing. So I'm becoming a bit of a
Or you're becoming.
becoming. For me, wine, I agree with Steven's take, so I won't repeat it. I think that old world wine is where it's at. I think that Napa is overpriced and overhyped. Drink Italian, Spanish, Chilean, South African, French wines. That's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
And I want to enunciate like South African, Spanish, Chilean, because they're a little bit off the beaten path more than most, and you can get like a high bang for the buck value with those wines,
No doubt.
for sure. And mezcal is amazing. That's where we all started. So
It's all amazing. Look, that's the bottom line.
okay, Mr. Binger. This was a phenomenal episode. I loved it. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
We did
Cheers.
it. Yep. Peace. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye,
I have
guys.
no idea what we're going to talk about, but it'll be fucking awesome. Join us in the Discord. Hit us up on the socials. Make sure you're subscribed. We love you guys. Peace.